Hi, I'm Chantal and I'm back with part two of today's encouragement. In my previous video, I mentioned the song Take It All and how it's just speaking to my heart in this season of life. And I want to talk to you about God's loving kindness today and that nothing is wasted in His kingdom. I was sitting with the Lord, I was having a cup of tea and a sandwich, and Take It All was playing. I was just trying to get into His presence and thinking about His goodness. And as I'm sitting there, all these thoughts are coming to mind about potential YouTube prompts that I could share with you to encourage you. And I'm wrestling with these thoughts that's kind of, I feel it's intruding on my time with God. And as I'm wrestling, I just feel the Lord's pleasure, and He's smiling. And He said to me, you told me to take it all. So I'm taking it all. Everything that's ever happened to you has never been wasted. He is really using everything in my life as a testimony to encourage others with. So He is taking it all literally. And so he wasn't upset. I thought I was upsetting God. I thought it was out of place for these prompts to be coming to me while I'm seeking to be with the Lord. But it's actually Him sending me these prompts to write it down and to encourage others and to remind myself of His loving kindness. And I was reminded of a story. He brought the story to mind of where I was having a challenging time with a family member, and I really struggled because sometimes in our minds we think, oh, we are Christians and we are supposed to behave in a certain way. And while that certainly is true, that He calls us to a higher standard, God's ways are so beautiful or so pure, we cannot do it in the flesh. We need to invite Him into all of it. And so then this family member was at our home and we were having a difficult situation, and I just left the situation and I went up to my bedroom, but I felt so disheartened because I thought, goodness me, I call myself a Christian. Why am I struggling with this situation? And then I just went to the Lord, and I expected some kind of rebuke from God because I wasn't feeling or acting in the way that I thought a Christian should. But God just received me in such tenderness, in such compassion. There was no rebuke at all. It was just Him saying to me, just love this person from my abundance, from my love. And I sat with Him and I said, but aren't you upset with me? And He said, no, He's not upset with us. And sometimes we think that, because we in our flesh sometimes react in a certain way to people or to our children, to whoever, because we have certain expectations of them. But sometimes, all we have to do is just, be merciful, because God is merciful to us. And I received God's mercy, His tenderness, and His compassion that day. And it left me a different person, because in my mind I was expecting a rebuke, but I received kindness and compassion and goodness and understanding. So He told me to love that person from His abundance, from His love. And it actually changed the way that one thing, that one, kind of reply from God changed my relationship with that person. And we understand one another better, because it was just God telling me to look at something from a different perspective, from His view. And so I want to encourage you today not to be harsh with yourself, thinking that because maybe you are a Christian that you have to do A, B, C, D. I think the Christian life is really so hard. We cannot do it in our own flesh. That is why we need to invite God into all of it. We need to surrender every part of our lives to Him so that we can choose the most excellent way by surrendering to Him in all that we do. So Let's not be harsh with us with ourselves, because God is not harsh with us. You know, He's like a father who takes his child who's learning to walk, and when the child falls, he gently helps the child up again. He doesn't say to the child, "Oh, you fell now, so that's the end of the story." No, He's like encouraging us. Yeah, there might be challenges, but continue with me, and I will lead you. And every day presents so many opportunities for spiritual growth. We see that. And I'm so grateful that we have a good Father who takes us by the hand on this journey and encourages us, and He meets us where we are. So if there are struggles that you have, surrender it to God and let Him speak into those situations. Let Him give you a strategy to deal with those situations, because He will. And then you'll see His loving kindness. It's present. It's present in every situation, every day, every challenge. He's a loving, kind Father. So be encouraged today. Bye.